Okay, so this is much longer than 30 minutes because Ev was using my phone for a piano lesson. So you can see how much bigger it is from the very first, like it grew probably double. So we're gonna dump her out. Maybe, there it goes. It's like super sticky. That's a good look. Okay, I'm gonna have to turn it sideways and set it down, I think, I don't know if I'll get it, because I don't have a little recorder here. What's on my screen? Hang on just a second. It's dirty all of a sudden. Because it was in the reflection. Gotcha. Okay, let me try this. Sorry, this is not my thing, obviously. Okay, so I'll try to work it there. So there's my giant blob of dough, and this recipe, I should have told you ahead of time, makes 2 loaves. Which, sorry, that's probably really loud. You would probably want to save one and go away. So you just cut it in half, and some people weigh it. I just eyeball it because I don't really care that much. So, can you see what I'm doing? So it's kind of sticky, like it sticks, but I don't have anything on my hands, and I'm not using any flour. Actually, that's a little bit too small. I can tell by feeling it. So this is how I shape my dough. I know people do like the folding over the edges and blah, 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 but I watched a really old video on YouTube a long time ago, probably 6 years ago, with an old lady who did it this way. And you can kind of see it sticks to the counter, but it doesn't really. You just have to not be afraid of what you're doing. So I just form it into rounds like that. And then once it's in a round, it gets like a surface tension on it. Can you even see? Yeah. So it gets a surface tension on it, and you can kind of shove it up so it gets into a nice little ball. And then it will relax. That ball will relax as it sits. You can already probably see it falling down. And ignore my messy kitchen behind. So I'm going to throw a towel over it, and it will sit in these 2 little balls like that for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and then it'll be ready to bake. So it's really not that much work. Like, you just have to touch it a few times. It's not hard. And then, so I'll probably in an hour and a half at 4:30, probably in an hour, because I think mine's pretty ready. You can see the bubbles on the top, like here, I'll pick it up. You can see like bubbles on the surface. Oh, this one's got good bubbles, see? So, that's a big bubble inside. So, it should only need to rise for maybe an hour and a half. So at an hour, I'll put my Dutch ovens in the oven to preheat, and so that they're nice and hot. So that an hour and a half, it's ready to go in. Because if you forget, it takes forever, because you bake it at 450. So it takes forever to get your oven that hot. Well, not forever, but you know. So that's it. That's the hardest part. So this is usually when people put it in proofing baskets. I really don't care. Like, people get really like picky about like touching it after this point, but that's because their starter sucks. So if you have a good starter, which you do, you can kind of do anything you want, and it's always going to be nice and bubbly on the inside. People are like, oh, tip it out of the proofing basket, so careful, because they don't want to lose any of those bubbles. But if you've got a good starter, you can throw it around. It's not a big deal. So that's why everybody gets really picky about it, because they're afraid it's going to be flat. And maybe your first loaf might be a little flat just because you're learning, but I wouldn't worry.